US tech giants are actually afraid of their own AI, and it's not for the reasons that you think. It's increasingly used in ways that are critical to safety, such as clinical diagnostics, autonomous vehicles, and predictive policing. I don't know if AI will destroy the planet, but I do know there are humans who will. How do we know whose values the AI is aligned to? What agenda is the AI pushing? Is the AI aimed at redistributing wealth? Errors here can cause irreversible harm, and all of us have to live with the consequences because no matter how much some people want to go to Mars, the rest of us know that we have to inhabit this planet. How many people have to be harmed before we take action on AI?
I think it's going to take an accident where 50 to 100 million people die to make the world take the threat of this really seriously.
This is a hedge fund manager who isn't focused on the stock market right now, and that's because he's worried about artificial intelligence. Let me tell you why this multi-billionaire who made his money by making money in the stock market is disturbed. It's because AI poses an imminent security threat to humanity within our lifetime. Paul Tudor Jones, founder of the hedge fund Tudor Investment Corporation, was at a conference with 40 notables. These are people whose names we all know. There were leaders in politics, finance, science, and technology. And because of Chatham House rules, he shared his experience. That means anyone who comes to a meeting is free to use the information from the meeting, but isn't allowed to share who made what point. Jones was on a panel discussing capitalism. There was also a panel on technology. That panel represented the top 4 AI models that we all use. Jones had 3 takeaways from the tech panel. First, AI can be a positive influence on society through education and medicine. In healthcare, we'll have better diagnostic and treatment suggestions because AI will have access to the data of millions of patient histories. In education, AI will be able to pinpoint what a student doesn't understand and give exactly the example needed and help the learner develop a deep understanding of the subject. It'll be like a hyper-focus tutor. These models are getting faster and better at a rapid rate. Tech companies are removing barriers to ensure this efficiency speeds up. AI, it represents an imminent security threat to humanity. I know. How do we get here? The panel worried him.
What are you doing on AI security? And they said the competitive dynamic is so intense among the companies, and then geopolitically between Russia and China, that there's no agency, no ability to stop and say, maybe we should think about what actually we're creating and building here. And so, and the final question is, well, what are you doing about it? He said, well, I'm buying 100 acres in the Midwest. I'm getting cattle and chickens, and I'm laying in provisions. For real. For real. For real.
When asked about AI security, the panel alluded to the race being too intense to focus on security right now. But they're preparing for their personal security should something happen. The panel worried him, but this freaked him out.
If you don't think there's a 10% chance, as fast as these models are growing, and how quickly they're commoditizing knowledge, how easily they're making it accessible, that someone couldn't biohack, because that's where the real weakness is. A weapon that could take out half of humanity. I don't know. 10% seems reasonable.
These tech companies are not focused on security. These technology companies are focused on growth at all costs. They're focused on being the winner. They're in competition with each other. It's an arms race and they're moving fast and breaking things. After this video, go to AI 2027 and listen to their prediction of what the AI race will look like. They have 2 possible endings. I've linked it below and it'll tell you what their opinion of the race will look like. I encourage you to read it or listen to it after this video is over. We're trapped in an AI arms race, and our safety is not a contender. IBM Watson gave dangerously flawed cancer treatment advice, including near fatal drug interactions. High profile reports detailed instances where Watson provided inappropriate or even unsafe recommendations. These challenges, coupled with declining revenues for IBM Watson Health, culminated in the program's discontinuation. The AI had been trained on synthetic data, not real patients' histories. It prioritized drug company profits over accuracy. This isn't an accident. This is a direct result of the AI arms race. It's between tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Meta. Their goal: deploy AI the fastest, capture markets, outpace regulators. Here's what we lose in their race: our physical safety. We're losing our privacy. We're placing ourselves in danger medically. The invasion of your privacy is accelerating. AI tracks you, Doorbell cameras create neighborhood surveillance networks. Social media algorithms know your sexuality before your family does. Most Americans say they have no control over their data. Without regulation, the best we can do is try not to get hurt. Self driving cars, surgical robots, police drones. What happens when corporations focus on speed over safety? Tesla's autopilot was linked to 736 crashes between 2019 and 2023. Amazon warehouses hid their increased injury rates from AI speed up demands. While the US hesitates, the European Union banned facial recognition in public spaces. China used AI to track Uyghurs and exports the technology to different countries. The US has a choice: become a leader in developing AI ethics or deal with the effects of the negative outcomes. We need immediate action because tech companies will not self regulate because they want to win at all costs. Google has already dissolved its AI ethics team in order to accelerate development. One biased algorithm can deny thousands of loans. One faulty medical AI can kill thousands of people. Those harms, they scale exponentially. Also, we're out of time. Over the past 10 years, the number of patent families in Gen AI has grown from just only 733 in 2014 to more than 14,000 in 2023. Since the introduction of the transformer in 2017, the deep neural network architecture behind large language models that have become synonymous with Gen AI, the number of Gen AI patents has increased by over 800%. Are you wondering what could be done? I have two simple solutions that we should consider. AI can show its work, and we can ban it for the riskiest uses. We don't need to know the deep recesses of an AI's brain, but we need to know how it reached its conclusions. It needs to tell us in ways that humans can actually interpret. When an AI denies your loan or your medical claim, you get a generic error message without answers. IBM Watson's cancer diagnoses came from a variety of inputs, most notably hypothetical and not real patient data. AI must reveal key factors in its decisions. It also has to show that it doesn't have a bias. If gender or race changes, the outcome shouldn't either. I mean, that is, unless it's medically relevant. In an instance of a job posting, identical resumes should get moved to the next step. This can make a real impact. It would shed a light on things like United Health's 90% error rate on patient claims. Passing an Accountability Act would empower the government to find companies hiding their AI logic. Even with that, some AI is just too dangerous to exist. We could develop a risk code. High risk is banned. Things such as autonomous weaponry should be banned. Medium risk items would be audited regularly. Think things like college admissions and loan approvals. And then there are the low risk applications. These would go really unrestricted, things such as your Netflix recommendations. These are solutions and they are a start. I think they would do well because they don't need tech expertise to actually work. The explanations would be given in plain English. The bans would target what AI does and as opposed to how it works. If there are new threats, we would add more risk codes, kind of like what the FDA does. Well, what they used to do. Some of this has already been done. I mean, look at the European Union's right to explanation. It gives individuals the legal right to receive an explanation for decisions made by automated systems. Also, paired with either or both of these solutions, developers should be held liable for their harms, regardless of their intent. Right now, they're buying land and provisions to protect themselves from what they're building. We need to protect ourselves from them. We have to force them to internalize the cost of their impact so that it incentivizes a proactive reduction in risk. You know, the opposite of moving fast and breaking things, because the things they'd be breaking are us. So, what's blocking solutions like this? It's lobbying. Tech giants spend a lot of money to remove the guardrails. Somehow, the people in charge are more concerned about what's going on between our legs than they are about something that could lead to their very end. The term AI hallucination doesn't exist in a vacuum. There are so many solutions already. We just need more voices talking about them. Here's how I think we can force change. Right now, we're bystanders in a battle of the tech bros, but you don't need to be a tech expert to get into the fight, right? Change can happen when ordinary people demand it. I realize there is so much going on, but in order to see the change that we seek, we have to take action. Far too long have most Americans been passive with their civic duties. We've resolved ourselves with voting being enough, posting on social media if we're feeling frisky. This big, beautiful bill puts a stop to any state regulations on AI for 10 years, while it pumps money into autonomous weaponry. This guy here, he's trying to get in on that money.
Oh, AI, I don't know. I don't trust it. It's going to go rogue. I would say that it is something to be aware of, but in the grand scheme of things to be afraid of, there's things that I'm much more terrified of. And I'm a lot more worried about evil people with mediocre advances in technology than AI deciding that it's going to wipe us all out.
Look, it's time for you to call both of your senators and your House representative. The Capitol switchboard number is 202-224-3121. You should call 3 times, one for each person. Ask for your senators and your representative. And once you're patched through to their office, tell them your name and what city you're from and that you're concerned about AI. If you have a personal story about how you're affected, tell it. If you don't have a story, tell them why you're concerned. If you don't know who your senators and representatives are, I want you to go to your web browser and type this web address. Here you can find yours using your home address. If you're not from the US, you have work to do as well. Reach out to your government representative. They need to put pressure on these companies as well. Technology, it's not limited to an arbitrary line drawn on a map. Your VPN won't protect you either. Once you're done with your calls, think about the AI that you use every single day. Check if your doorbell camera shares your data with the police. If the big store you frequent uses facial scraping for security, find an alternative store that doesn't. If your web browser shares your data, use a different one. Share your thoughts about AI on social media using simple phrases like make AI safe, people over algorithms, human oversight now, or impeach President Teal can be effective messaging. Have conversations about your concerns with the lack of AI regulation in places you go. Make it your new small talk. We have to normalize these conversations. Everything that we do matters. One call to Congress triggers staff briefings on AI risks. 10 social shares educates people within your degree of separation. Boycotting can drop corporation stock value significantly. I'm talking to you, Target. We have to hold our representatives accountable with how they handle this. We also have to be wary of any who claim to be our AI savior and pay attention to whose money got them to where they are today. To be frank, this guy is a tech billionaire who is destroying the air in Memphis. He went from regulate AI at all costs to regulate this. He and his friends are in control of this technology. These people can continue to contribute to the race unchecked, sacrificing your safety and your privacy for profit. Even if they are not making weapons, people can be harmed with something as simple as a misdiagnosis. Families lose homes to rent gouging algorithms. Communities are surveilled with biased facial recognition. We may be late to this race, but if we start running right now, we can win. What we do right now matters. Tell me your thoughts on reasons why you think we should regulate AI. What solutions do you propose? And if you think we shouldn't regulate it, tell me why. Let's talk in the comments. As usual, the resources I use for this video are listed in the description. There is so much more that I didn't discuss in this video because it's heavy, but you can learn about it with the papers that I used. Oh, and Roberta really wanted me to talk about this. So here we are. He says hi, and we'll see you in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Okay, bye.